What up, everybody? Quick update, got a lot to cover. I had two matches over the last couple weeks. First being at PCW a couple weeks back, and I faced Robert Evans for the first time ever. We've never actually been in the same ring with the exception of run-ins here and there, but we've never actually faced in a one-on-one matchup or a matchup of any sort for the most part. Didn't know about it until I got to the arena. I thought I was facing APOC or someone else, and actually faced Robert, and I gotta admit, aside from the finish, because I didn't win, I was pleasantly pleased with the match. I've always had a lot of respect for Robert's charisma, not only on the mic but in the ring. I think he's a very talented guy, can pull off some great stuff. So it was a bit of a test for me because he's a guy who can really go. And I was very pleased with it. Our chemistry was very good, and hopefully, given what the outcome was of the match was, hopefully we can do it again. And I'm very much looking forward to it. So if you go to PCWWrestling.com, you can actually see the vid. It'll be for the October 25th show, so go check it out. On Halloween, at Halloween Havoc for PWA, I was in the main event, my first ever main event for PWA. I was in a six-man match with Chris Adams, Dog Cheatham, Jared Steele, Nico, and Tank Bishop. And I gotta say, I was just happy to be out there, be there amongst the fans, and actually getting to perform. And being in the main event's also kind of special for me. It's a special moment. So this weekend at TASW, I am facing Nico for the heavyweight title. So this month of November will be pretty jam-packed. But before I go, I actually reviewed Raw's 800th episode, which was this past Monday, and it did a little differently. Pretty much every segment I reviewed. So I'm going to kind of, depending on how long it goes, I'm going to give you kind of the highlights of that and see what everyone thinks. And I'd definitely like to hear everyone's opinion. I'm going to try to get my match with Nico recorded, at least for me, and maybe I'll show some highlights depending on how it comes across. And again, just sit back, relax, and enjoy my review of Raw's 800th episode, and I'll talk to you later. Really good opening. I liked how they tied in the flashback and tied in the first episode at the very end. Very good tag match. Man, I could see Brian Kendrick feuding with Jeff Hardy or with Matt at ECW, which I think would be cool, since Evan apparently is out. And good promo from Randy. Just a good way to start it off. Sets the stage and ties in what they did last week. So so far, so good. Be back. Santino Marella. Now that's him on commentary. That is simply priceless. But when I saw who was in this, I really didn't know who it was for. But I'm glad it was for the IC strap, and I don't know, a little intrigue with that. William Regal in England, so he's going to be immensely over. And Santino and him should probably have Regal's antics and Santino's antics should work out pretty well. Santino, at least, he's making it memorable, talking about the history of it. And good showing by DiBiase, man. There's probably a future for that guy. I mean, the Battle Royal was actually booked really well. If you really paid attention, the booking of that Battle Royal was actually really solid. Told a great story and got over each guy for the most part. Like I said, DiBiase did a great job. So, and who else isn't immensely jonesing for the Mortal Kombat vs. DC video game? I mean, an actual game with Superman in it, where it's an actual good game. Same thing with Batman. Flash actually having a game that's really cool. Man, I don't know which is better, this series or Marvel's Ultimate Alliance. I gotta think about that one. awesome segment. The Adam Lee McMahon Orton segment was really good, got me reeled in. And although I would have liked to seen those guys, Punk and Orton, hold off their first encounter for a pay-per-view, this is kind of a pay-per-view. It's a 3-hour event. It just leads to question how often will they do these, because in essence it's another pay-per-view within the month. So, I mean, and really that's what I like about these shows, is that they're multiple, you know, every brand's involved, you know. You can't do it all the time, but it's a special event. With the Randy Orton thing, that was awesome. The whole setup of that. And, you know, even Adam Lee looking like he was ready to lose it, was really well done. There's not anything I can really talk negatively about so far. Don't worry, if there is, I probably will call them on it, so. Be right. Kozlov gets put over matches. And I guess he's working the Undertaker. So they're building him to face Triple H. I don't know. I mean, it's a good way of booking a guy and making him into something. It's just, you know, trying. So, and Haas, not his best work, but you know, how many guys can actually say they made claim that they could emulate Bret the Hitman Hart and do it on Raw and get away with it. One thing I forgot to mention the last break was the 1-2-3 Kid. I just forgot how great that was. You know, looked like a put-over match for Scott Hall, and 1-2-3 Kid gets the upset victory, and they build a little storyline out of it, and just his youthful exuberance when he wins, another priceless moment. They're doing good with the flashback so far. I got no complaints. Every show needs filler, and this is not knocking Batista. I don't know. I would have. You're the world heavyweight champion, man. You know, like, I'd be on top of the freaking world if I was you. But you know, that's a minor knock. That's me being probably too critical, and who am I really? So I'm gonna keep watching. The DX segment is a really good filler segment. I mean, it got Miz and Morrison over. It's great because you don't see them DX together all the time, so it's kind of nostalgic. And just imagine if the NWO had kind of pulled the same thing, where it was just a very small group of guys that were part of it, as opposed to the oversaturation of the NWO. Really, and good way of Morrison and Miz to actually cut them off before they got to the catchphrase. Keep watching. That was a really good tag match between Miz and Morrison and D-Generation X. Gotta hand it to him. I don't think, aside from Jericho hitting the sweet chin music or his version, I could be wrong, maybe Orton's done it, but to have Morrison actually do it and it come off really well, really good. And it was a really good way of getting those guys over. Even in defeat, I think they got the rub. And Morrison, I mean, Miz took the pedigree better than most guys take it. I mean, his bump was really nice on it. Keep watching. The Randy Orton CM Punk match, I had to actually watch the finish of that match repeatedly. That was wow. Orton came back with a vengeance, looked good, had all the tats, didn't rush his comeback, he looked ready to go, no rust. They had a good match, it was pacing well for the most part, for having not worked each other, or that I know of. A really solid affair. And the finish, the punt, and it's weird because Punk was the proverbial face, and Randy's getting all kinds of boos, and then he did the pose and people popped for him, but then when he kicked DiBiase, they seemed to come with him, you know, and the RKO chance was just, I can't really complain about this show so far, so I'm still watching, hoping for something. 6 years ago, they were trying to build that kid, Jeff Hardy. Him and Taker. Is that a good thing that I'm talking about the flashback more than the segment? The cage match was really good. I will say that. The cage match was pretty awesome. I watched a lot of just creative stuff. I mean, that may have mainly been Jericho, but I'm sure the agents, you know, might have helped. But really, really well done. One of the better cage matches I've seen in a while. And luckily it was, you know, Jericho in there. And I'm glad, you know, that he's champ.